All right, here now is Lara Trump, daughter-in-law to former President Trump and a Fox Business contributor. Lara, thanks for joining me. I find it fascinating. I first want to talk about the Department of Justice. So we both know the Department of Justice has classified parents who protest, not even protest, they actually ask questions at school board meetings as potential domestic terrorists. But here you have radical leftists who are burning churches, that are vandalizing pregnancy centers, but are also threatening justices. But the Department of Justice seems to be doing nothing in regard to the actual violence from the pro-abortion movement.
Yeah, it's honestly shocking to see this happen in America. Sean, you know, you expect this to happen maybe in a banana republic, but this is the United States of America, and there has to be equal application of the laws and equal justice for people in America. And you're exactly right. The fact that we had parents that would go to a school board meeting and would be labeled as domestic terrorists, yet you had an assassination attempt against a Supreme Court justice. You've had fire bombings across the country by these radical groups. This Jane's Revenge group comes to mind, obviously, and yet absolutely nothing seems to be done about it. It basically gives a green light to these people to continue their rampage, to continue their violence. And this is something that the Department of Justice and the Attorney General should be taking incredibly seriously, because you heard the words from Lindsey Graham there. Someone is going to get killed. He's not exaggerating what could possibly happen here. Tensions are very high. People are very heated right now. And unfortunately, there's being nothing done to deter these people from causing violence. And I think it's just going to continue at this point.
Well, it would be helpful, too, if the actual media would call out those who are fomenting the violence, or the social media companies who say, listen, we can't have violence on our platforms, that we're going to actually take it down. I'm not a guy for censorship, but what's good for the goose truly is good for the gander. But even so, the far left, they're trying to delegitimize the Supreme Court. And we heard a little bit of this in Hillary Vaughn's report, but take a listen to what else has been said by the far left politicians.
The Supreme Court has dramatically overreached its authority. This is a crisis of legitimacy.
This court has lost legitimacy. I believe we need to get some confidence back in our court, and that means we need more justices.
Given the extremism, the far-right extremism, and the imbalance and the compromised integrity of the Supreme Court, we need to expand the courts.
So, Lara, I disagree with an opinion that came from the Supreme Court, so it must be illegitimate, and we must put more members on the court or impeach current members so we can get the rulings that we like.
Yeah, I mean, this is so typical for the left, Sean, because whenever they lose an argument or things don't go their way, there are calls of illegitimate. I think back to the 2016 election when Hillary Clinton was supposed to win the election and Donald Trump won. How long did they continue to call Donald Trump the illegitimate president? Or they resort to violence, or you have a situation like what's going on right now where people have, in essence, been lied to on the left. It is truly incumbent upon the political leaders of the Democrat Party. These people need to come out and make clear to people that abortion is not illegal in America. And that is the messaging that they're continuing to push out there, because very clearly they're hoping to take this Roe v. Wade decision and parlay it into something that will help them in the midterm election. So they are allowing people all across the country on the left to believe that abortion has been made illegal everywhere in America. And obviously that is not the case. It goes back to the states, as we continue to talk about, at least on this network, but no one else seems to want to put that messaging out there and calm people down. Instead, it's sort of been, by all means necessary, make your anger heard, make your voices heard, you know, firebomb, whatever you need to do. And I think it's incumbent, again, upon some of these leaders, maybe even Joe Biden, to come out and say, hey, it's not illegal, it's going to be a state's decision. And many states, of course, are going to continue allowing abortions in their states.
I only have about 30 seconds left, but you're the former president's daughter-in-law. He put 3 justices on the court. He had a litmus test for the most part that they were going to be pro-life. What was his reaction when this decision came out?
Well, I think this is something that he, was very proud of, because these are constitutionalists. These are people that follow the Constitution as written, and there's nothing in the Constitution that says that, abortions are a constitutional right. So again, they're following the Constitution, they're sending it back to the states, and that's all you can hope for your Supreme Court justices. And they didn't cower in the face of all the intimidation that was thrown their way. I think that's also a very important point here, and something he was very proud of.
That's an important point. They didn't cower when they were threatened and assassination attempts were made. Lara Trump, thanks for joining me.